to episode 3 of Hey Girl Hey with Amy.
Agree.
And Rashad.
We
Yes.
have a special guest today, my bestie, Rashad. He's been my best friend for 15 plus years. We went to
Ooh,
high
we
school
old.
together, and I'm so excited to have him as our first guest on Hey Girl Hey. And he's going to give us some input today on the stuff that we're going to be talking about. So let's get this party started
Let's do
and
it.
let's get it done. So today I'm giving you guys a little tea, a little story. Um, so as you can see, I have these faux locks in my hair, and I usually get braids or something in the summer because it's hot. I'm natural. It's hard to keep my hair straight. So I was excited to try somebody new. I found her on Instagram. She's actually from Spelman, a little bit younger than me. I always try to give my black sisters an opportunity to do my hair. So I hit her up, sent her the deposit. We made an appointment, went to her house, everything went well. And then about 3 days after that, my hair started unraveling. So, you know, that happens. I have very soft hair, it's very curly. So sometimes hairstyles don't always stay. That's expected. But, usually stylists are very nice and they'll, you know, I reach out to them. They will be like, hey, just come back. I'll redo it. I'll fix it. Or they'll give me a suggestion like, hey, maybe that style is not for you. Let's try something different. Most people are very flexible. This girl, on the other hand, was very nice at first. She was like, hey, you know, come by on Monday. I'll redo it for you. No problem. So Sunday night rolls around. She's like, hey, something came up. I can't do it. Can you come on Wednesday? So I'm off for the summer. My schedule's pretty flexible. I don't mind, being flexible with my schedule. Again, I'm off. So I said, okay, no problem. So Tuesday rolls around, I get another message. I can't do it on Wednesday.
Mm.
Can you come on Friday? Okay, now I'm getting a little bit irritated
Annoyed.
Mm-hmm.
because I paid you to do my hair $200 and you're providing a service. So I get that things come up, stuff happens, but schedule me when you're available. Okay, don't try to squeeze me in between clients, in between this and that. Actually, give me a time when you're free so that I can come get my hair fixed. Now, I'm getting ready to go on a trip. So, obviously, I need my hair fixed before the trip. I don't want to be out of town looking ratchet. My hair is unraveling. So, I told her that, and she was like, oh, no problem. You can come Monday. I'll be free. Come at 7. I'll be off work by then. So that tells me you have another job.
Right.
Okay. So you do hair on the side. Cool. We don't have a side hustle. I babysit on the side. That's fine. Again, I babysit when I'm free. I
Right.
don't try to squeeze in babysitting jobs in between my regular job. Okay. So Sunday night rolls around. She texts me again.
Oh,
So at
God.
this point, I'm like, hey, don't even worry about it. My friend does faux lock. She said she would fix it. Just send me some of my money back. So she was like, no, it's fine. I'll still send you some of your money back, but you can come on Wednesday. When do you leave on your trip? I said, I leave on my trip on Thursday. So I will still come on Wednesday, but I still think you should send me some of my money back. So she sends me my money back. I plan to go on Thursday. Wednesday rolls around. She sends me this long message.
Mm, mm,
I
mm.
can't do it. I just got booked for a
Oh,
big movie.
no, you didn't, girl. No, you didn't.
I can't do it.
Right.
I'm so sorry. I hope this isn't a reflection of my business. I hope you'll
It
book me
is.
in the future.
You
Blah, blah,
won't.
blah. So this brings me to my point. Black businesses, they want you to support them. They want you to pay full price for their services, but your customer service does not equal up to your business. Your customer, no, no. I'm trying to support sis, Spelman sis, little baby Spelman sis, and mm, Like, you want me to support you again in the future? You want me to repost your hairstyles on Instagram? Why would I do
No.
that? But my hair is unraveling. You have not redone it.
No,
Although you
you
said you
should.
have
No,
my
you,
money
you
back,
should.
like,
You should post about it. You should post about it and
Ugh.
give your honest review. But she wants you to post about it. Give her the attention that she wants. She gave you horrible customer service. Your hair is not in the manner that you expected it to come to. So you want me to post? Okay, cool. Hey, got my hair done by homegirl stuff. And like, woo woo. But it looks
Uh,
like,
I can't believe she canceled on you 4 times.
yeah.
And she picked the days. It's not
She
like you
gave
said,
you she gave
hey,
you the day
can
and
I come
time to
on
come.
Tuesday? And she said, yeah. Like, she kept picking the days.
that was my thing. Like, I didn't tell you I was available on Tuesday. You told me to come on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Like, multiple times you canceled on me, and you want me to give you a positive review or come back next time when I need my hair done. Absolutely not. I'm never
And
coming back to
you
you.
made plans to have someone else fix it. And then
Right.
she
And
told
then
you not to
told you
do
not to
that.
do that because she gonna fix it, but then you still got the short end of the stick. Like, yeah, you got some of your money back, but you still walk around with your hair not the way that you paid for it to be.
That's
And
ridiculous.
then I went on her Instagram, and like, she has me on her Instagram because she took pictures of my hair when I first got it done.
Mm.
And she has me on her Instagram. Like, aren't these so cute? Book me. And I'm thinking, like, girl, take my picture down.
You should tell. No, I probably would tell
I,
her to take my picture down. I probably wouldn't comment on the post, but I would DM her and say, hey, you and I both know the work wasn't great quality. They were falling out 3 days after you did them, and I kept trying to get you to fix it, and you didn't. So please take it down. She's lying.
right. I mean, she's trying to get another client, but at the same time, I mean, I wouldn't be putting some. If I know that I gave a horrible experience to somebody, I wouldn't be posting about them because if they can,
Absolutely
they might. Well, they wanted to comment on some piss poor service that I gave, but I'm talking about, oh yeah, we did. I just sold you this house, whatever, whatever. But I did a horrible job. Like, you know what? Don't call him. You know,
not.
like
Right.
unprofessional.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not
it's
good.
so hard being a woman and like, I don't know. I feel like in Atlanta, I mean, Amy, you live in New York. You tell me you go get your braids done for, I don't know. Like, you be telling me you paid that much for braids. I never paid that much.
Right.
But
Like when you said 200, I was like, huh. Like if I go to a braiding salon here, first of all, I live in Harlem, so there are African braiding salons on literally every block, right? They'll do pretty good jobs, and it'll be like $80, $120, including the hair, and it's fine. I've never had braids fall out when I go to one of those salons.
Yeah. I mean, I paid 65 for a haircut.
What is that? Wait, is that like normal for guys now? I don't know.
I
$65.
would say normal for not for every barber. On average, most barbers are charging between $30 and $40 for a haircut.
Okay.
But I pay the price that I pay because it's appointment only. A walk in. It's not a whole lot of people that's up in there just like sitting around. My barber usually is on time, so I'm usually able to get the chair in a decent amount of time. He washes it and all of that. So I mean, it makes it a little bit different than just going and say, "Hey, well, look, I'm about to go sit in your chair. You're gonna cut my hair." It's five other people in here. Y'all talking. You taking a break in the meantime. You got walk-ins coming in. Like I don't have to deal with the hassle of a
That's
$30
worth it.
barber. Now
I
it's not
just
some. Now some barbers are appointment only. They charge that same price or whatever. But I mean, I just haven't been able to get them booked because you're so cheap and you good. Everybody trying to be booked up. So I said, look, I gotta pay a little extra to be able to get the service that I want and not have to wait around for a long time just to get my haircut.
I just saw this post a couple days ago, and it said, "The older I get, the more willing I am to pay for convenience," and that is so
It's,
me. Like,
it's
if
facts.
you can make it easy for me, I'm gonna pay you the extra money. That's fine.
Facts. I
So
mean,
I get it.
because before I switched to my new barber, like my experience was I went to the barber shop. My appointment was I think it was like at 5 o'clock. I'm getting there like, hey, appointment. Like I should be able to walk in and get in the chair when I get there. Hey man, I'm running behind. You know what I'm saying? I got one in front of you. Blah blah. I'm okay. You know what? Cool. I live around the corner. I'm gonna go home, chill out, change my clothes or whatever, and I come back. Come back. I'm like 5 minutes away, so I go home, come back or whatever. They gonna finna get ready to get in the chair. Hey man, I got one more. I said, you know what?
Another one? Okay.
I said I'm gone.
Like, come
I
on.
got up and
That's
I left, and I was like, I'm about to. I called my the barber that I had switched to at that time. I called him. I was like, look, can I come get in your chair tomorrow? He was like, cool, I got you. So I pulled up, got me a cut, and didn't have to wait an hour, 2 hours. Have to worry about somebody being in front of me or possibly being in the chair before I got a haircut. So I was
That's
like, if you
ridiculous.
want the money, up your price, decrease the amount of people that's waiting on you.
That's
If they
true.
want your service, they're gonna pay for it. I do.
Very true.
Yeah,
Very true.
people like get mad though when you like switch stylists, but who wants to sit all day and wait? Or
Right.
like get some sorry service? Nobody.
Right.
It's so many stylists that I can
Right.
go
At
to
the end of the
where I
day,
don't
I
have
mean,
to get sorry service.
Pretty
No.
much.
it's enough money to go around, but at the same time, we gotta. Well, I move based off of my schedule. So if it's convenient for me to come to this person more than it's to go to the other person, I'm gonna go to that person. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Whichever one makes it easier for me in order to get in and get out.
Make my life easy. That's what
Yeah.
I like. Okay, so let's move on to the topic for this week. This week we are talking about generational curses.
Mm.
So, what is y'all's definition of a generational curse?
Well, for me, generational curse is just something that a bad trait or a bad characteristic that somebody in my family has, and I do the exact same thing that they do, knowing that it's not right or whatever situation. If it's not right, just pretty much repeating and doing the exact same thing that they do.
What do you think, Brianna?
I think I agree, but I think it's something that has carried on even before my parents, maybe generations before them,
Yeah.
and it's just continuing, and maybe it's unknowing. And I feel like the more knowledge you get, or the more aware you are of it, the more you can change it. So, like, just an example is, I don't know, single parent. Maybe for the last 5 generations, you have had only your mom, only the mom has raised the kids. And now, it's 2021, we're 30, and we want to be married. And we want to have a family, and we want to have a husband. We want to raise our kids in a 2-parent household. So I know that. And so I consciously am not going to have children until I'm married. So that is what I consider a generational curse.
Yeah.
I agree. Do y'all think that generational curses can just be only one generation? Like, do you think it can just be something that only your parents did and you don't want to do it? Or do you think it needs to be your parents, your grandparents, and so on?
I mean, I think it can be anybody in the family. I mean, because pretty much you're coming from their DNA, so it could be an auntie, or uncle, a grandparent, somebody that's in the upper, your upline as far as how you act. I know, like for myself, like my family are some cussers. Like them mothers can cuss. And I got it honest. You know what I'm saying? Like I know my mama told me. I think I was like one. She said I knew how to cuss, when to cuss. How to use it, what word. Like what I'm saying? I was fluent in it at one. You know what I mean? So like if somebody pissed me off, I knew what cuss word to use. So it was knowing that I come from a family of cursors. You know, I picked that up as a trait. Shit talker. My family talk a lot of shit. I
Do
mean,
you
got it
want to
honest.
stop cursing?
I do, but it's hard. I mean, it's hard
It's
for me
hard.
because I've done it so much. But at the
Yeah.
same time, I've learned how to not do it, and depending upon the setting that I am, and what I'm talking about. But I mean, sometimes I catch myself like coming out of cuss word like every now and then. But I can't say when I have let go out of cuss word and I say I correct myself, the client or who I'm talking to, like, oh no, you good, and they kind of ease, kind of start talking the
They
same
make
way.
you comfortable.
They get comfortable with me exactly.
Uh-huh.
So because like sometimes when I'm able to just be my natural self, if I did want to curse, it makes the people that I'm around comfortable to be able to do it too, and it becomes an easier conversation or a better interaction between us.
That's true. I definitely have a potty mouth, and my family is not a cursing family like my aunts, my uncles, my parents. Nobody really curses like that, but I have a filthy mouth, and I don't know where I got it from.
You probably got it from a grandparent, a great aunt, or uncle, or something. Just don't know.
You know what? You might be right. They made me this way without me even knowing. That's what it is.
Facts.
I don't know. No, Brianna. No, is that wrong?
It's Gucci Mane.
You might be right about that. It might be him because I do love him. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was talking to a couple of my cousins about it, And I was like, what do y'all think are some generational curses? Because obviously, like you said, Rashad, it could be anybody in the family. We all have the same DNA, same genes. And something that one of my cousins said that I thought was really interesting is she's trying to break the generational curse of people in our family who may say something like, oh, that's just how I am, or that's just how I talk. And really being rude and disrespectful, but you kind of use that's just how I am as an excuse to act that way instead of apologizing or being more mature.
Try
And
to
I thought
make
that was a
that
really good one.
situation.
Yeah. And I was talking to one of my best friends, and she said that one in her family that she really wants to break is financial responsibility
Mhm.
and I guess financial literacy, because she said, like, even now, a lot of people in her family, you know, never have money, or, you know, they can't afford certain things, they can't do certain things, you know,
Or
and
they
it's
just
like,
mismanage their money the wrong way.
right, like they'll get some money and it'll be gone like that. So
Hmm.
she said she's really trying to change that, own some property. And she was like, yeah, but you know, clearly I'm not really successful about that because I don't own any property. And I said, I feel like half of the battle is even knowing that you want to break it, because I also have generational curses that should be broken, but we don't
Mhm.
even know they should be broken.
Right.
We just accept them, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the things like when you're spoke on your with cousin, right, about the owning property, I think that's one of the things that most African Americans just didn't know about it because we didn't know. So the process of buying the house, what it takes, and the responsibilities of owning a house. A lot of us, are first time home buyers. Like some of our parents are first time home buyers because they weren't taught that. So now that we're in the social media era, and I'm in real estate, so I'm able to talk to my family and different friends about it. It's able to help open them doors and help show them about creating generational wealth. So it's like once you really explain to them what that means and what it is, and I was like, okay, well, everybody wants to be a homeowner now because it was just something that we didn't know about. Most of us grew up knowing of just renting an apartment, renting a house. So, oh, I got to just go pay rent, stay here for you, then move again. But now that I know about real estate, I understand just the investment side of it and how you're creating a savings account essentially for yourself. And then you stay in it, you own it. Yeah, you got to fix it, but just like it with a car, you got to fix a car when it mess up. So what's the difference with a house? You just got
Right.
to be more financially responsible. Okay, well, what am I doing with my money? So
You're
and
right.
if you don't know, if your parents not teach you how to save or different things like that, you don't apartment, you ain't got to worry about saving because the maintenance man will come fix it.
And I think that you have like a very special position because you get to interact with people firsthand and really educate people on what they need to own. Because just working in the school, you know, I get to register families, and it's always Black families that come in that are renters. Um, they're very transient, constantly moving, constantly going from this apartment to this apartment, living with this person, living with that person. And then it's always the white families who own the homes, come with the deeds, come with the mortgages.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so sad because it's like, you want Black families to own stuff. You want them to have stuff to pass on to their children. And it's hard to educate them because they don't have that savings. They don't have that, money saved up, or the credit, or the just anything to even get started.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you're in a very unique position to educate, especially Black people, on how to own and how to get started. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Look,
really
I
deep.
enjoy just being able to talk to people about like I use a client that I'm working with right now. Like him and his wife, they're looking at buying a house, whatever, but they have a student loan that got bad credit. And of course, naturally, the typical agent, oh, just go pay this person, and, and they'll, sweep this off, delete this off your credit for whatever, whatever. But something that I have found is it's not always effective, and sometimes it takes a lot longer than what you would expect in order for it to take, or things may end up popping back up or just, and I even had an experience where I had got some bleed out my credit report and that thing popped right back up and they're like, no, you can pay us. And then every month that I decided not to pay, I'm not paying y'all. Every month I didn't pay, they're like, yep, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. I was like, yeah, let me catch this back up. Because I'm not, because it was the understanding I needed to have good credit. So learn what other people have been experiencing in their life and being able to connect with people that can really give them real life solutions to how to get around it versus just paying somebody that's going to delete it, sweep it, or whatever, and then the possibility of it coming back up or whatever processes that they have for doing credit repair. I'd much rather put you in a position where you know I'm gonna take care of this, I'm gonna handle it, I'm good, I ain't gotta worry about popping back up, and I didn't have to, potentially even do something illegal like creating fake police reports on somebody stealing your identity, just to get some taken off your credit. But you know, different stuff for different folks.
Right. Do you feel like you have any generational curses that you've broken or are working on breaking in your life currently?
Yeah, I would say money management and just owning real estate. I mean, I personally haven't purchased my own house yet, but I was able to help my mom purchase a home. So just being able to have the experience, I'm able to know about it, learn about it, help educate people on it, especially coming from a homeowner's point of view. But it's like now that I know that I can, tell people how to do better, and then even say, well, look, this is the first house that Mama got for us, family, whatever, and say, well, look, go to the siblings, and they're look, but this is what y'all gotta do in order to own your house, and then we just continue to grow one another. So now, got one house, and when the next sibling buys their house, there's two houses in the family, then I go get mine, three, so on and so forth. So now the family, in essence, has generational wealth. And then even to the aspect of life insurance. Most people don't even know about life insurance. I was like, nah, I got mine. I'm gonna make sure, if something were to happen to me tomorrow, I know my family's gonna be set for a long time. And it's something that I'm able to leave behind in my family. Something happens to me, whether it be tomorrow or later on down the line in life. And of course, as I make more and more money, I'm gonna start buying more and more insurance policies. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to pass on and your family not be able to get past your death, or whether it be a couple months or a couple years or whatever, at least they got something from it. And most people die without wills and insurance policies. Like, oh, well, GoFundMe, we need a GoFundMe page. Like, nah, like, I'd much rather be like, no, well, when this happened to me, I already had the money. All they had to do was, set the arrangements with the funeral home, whatever, and then boom, like, he's good, good, nice funeral, whatever. I got me some money to help me take care of this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. So it's the death benefit of it all that my beneficiaries get from it.
When GoFundMe, it just, I'm not going to say it hit home because I personally haven't had a GoFundMe or had a family member create a GoFundMe for someone who's passed away. But it kind of reinforces that homeownership is a very important curse that needs to be broken in a lot of Black families, because honestly, it seems like every other day, it seems like there's a GoFundMe, like such and such donate the money for the funeral, and it's really crazy. And so it really, to repeat it, is great that you are teaching people about homeownership. Mm-hmm. And I feel like personally that wasn't, I guess, a curse that I had to break. But a lot of my friends, like pretty much all of my friends, want to own property or already own property. And if I were to look at my friends' parents and my parents, if we were to pool all of them, they probably didn't all own property. So that's already, I think that's kind of also a millennial thing. Like, I think that's like very popular.
I think an association thing too. I think it's an association thing. Mm-hmm. So like if you're around people that know about owning houses, or their parents teach them about owning houses and just different things, you're like, well, how did you get that? How did you get this? So what did you do to do that? They start educating you, just on a friend level, and then you are who you surround yourself with. If you own a property and your friend know that you own your house, well, what'd you do to buy your house? Oh, this is what I did. Here's my risk. I'm gonna connect you with them, and then you just open the door for them to be able to get past that generational curse.
That's true. That's something that like actually happened to me personally. Like, I bought my apartment, and then when an apartment opened up in my building, I told my best friend, I was like, look, get your ducks in a row. This apartment opened up. I know you want to purchase an apartment. I mean, I live in New York City. We don't really have houses here. I was like, I know you want to purchase an apartment, so get everything together. And she was able to purchase the apartment in my building. Oh, so you're right. It's definitely who you associate with and help around you, stuff like that.
Yeah. So you got to pick your neighbor, as is what they call it. You get to pick your neighbor.
I know. She's so convenient.
Who do you know? They know who do you want to be your neighbor. That's a script. And then that we use in real estate. Like, hey, you know what? I just listed so and so's house. Who do you know that's looking to buy in the neighborhood? Boom. So then you pick your neighbor.
That's really great, actually. Do y'all
Hmm.
have any other generational curses that you want to break? Brianna, do you have any that you can think of?
That I want to break? I don't know.
I had trouble too. That's why I had to ask my cousin.
Personally, maybe not. But I did pose the question to Instagram. And let me see. A lot of people said bad credit. And that brought me to think about how people like put their kids like
Oh my God.
stuff in their kids' names
Hmm.
and like just ruin their life. Like, why? Why do y'all do that? Why would you put stuff in your child's name? And like basically when they grow up, their credit is already jacked up, you know?
But like you said, like with bad credit, if you don't know about credit and it's like, oh, well, my credit is bad, so I'm gonna just use my child's name. It's like that was a quick way out of it. But the same, because they don't understand credit, they don't understand that they're really jacking up their kids' future. But it depends upon the environment that they're around. Ain't nobody in that environment thinking like that because most people
Right.
that's in the kind of environment they're thinking alike.
Yeah, that's true.
It's so sad. Like a 2-year-old got a cable bill or like a cell phone. Why?
It's not even funny. It's actually ridiculous.
It's not
I
that,
think
like
that-
you jacked up stuff so much that this child, when they do finally are, when they're able to get something in their name, they can't because they got 10 things, in collections.
Hmm.
Exactly. I think that all the things that we've discussed really show that a lot of generational curses, for Black people at least, revolve around finances.
Yeah,
And
I mean
so,
that's why we're behind in the world.
yeah.
I mean,
Very
but when we had it, they took it from us and they tried to hold us down. But when we're getting like, I used the whole Airbnb little situation. I don't know if y'all heard about it, but the city of Atlanta is placing a ban on Airbnbs. Like,
Oh, I
people won't
didn't
be
know that.
Yeah, like this just came out. I want to say it was yesterday, the day before that, but they're placing a ban on Airbnb, saying that you can't, do short-term rentals on through like Airbnb and Via. And I'm honestly thinking it's all because of the hotels. But when I look at some of the people that I know that have Airbnbs, like they're Black and they making money, like killing it, making money off of Airbnb. So, they're trying to hold us back, trying to keep us from making money. Same thing they did, back in the day.
I can't believe they're banning Airbnb in Atlanta.
And-
That has to
and-
be like a
and- but-
huge.
I mean,
amount.
honestly, I'm thinking it's because of the hotels that are here, and if people start, it being that everybody's always coming here, and people are just booking up the Airbnb.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Hotels,
I know
hotels
that.
are losing money. These billion-dollar corporations are losing money to the average outside person just going to, go book Airbnb. So I mean, honestly, I'm thinking it has something to do with that. Just when you look at the amount of growth going on in Atlanta, and you have these bigger companies like hotels not being able to get booked up because of Airbnbs, they're like, no, we're trying to figure out how we can make our money.
Yeah.
So these people that have several Airbnbs in Atlanta, what are they supposed to do?
That part I don't know, but I know when it comes to the people that are leasing out like these apartments or whatever. I mean, shoot, if you're making money off of Airbnb, you should have money like piled up. So you might got to pay that termination fee, give them the notice 2 months, and pay to break your lease. If that's how even if that's how you had your apartment situation set up.
Wow, that's a
So,
mess.
Yeah,
What did other people respond to your poll?
One that really stuck out to me that, I obviously didn't personally deal with because I'm not a male. I don't know if Rashad personally dealt with this, but is being vulnerable and being able to express emotion as a male.
I love that.
I mean, I think that definitely is something that most men aren't willing to do, as far as like just being able to express how they feel and what they are. I mean, more so because I guess for me it's like you're supposed to be like this hard person. You're not supposed to really show feeling or emotion, things like that. And women, y'all are, oh girl, you can go cry in the corner, go talk to your girlfriend on the phone or whatever. But I mean, most men not gonna go cry to their friend. You know what I'm saying? So it's being able to. But I mean, I think for me, because I do have some female friends, I can call and talk to them and kind of be vulnerable with them. But for the most part, most men ain't gonna be vulnerable and really just vent and cry, to another man.
Do you feel like that's a result of how you were raised though? Like, growing up, did like maybe females or males that you were raised by tell you like don't cry or like
I
you
mean, I
know
definitely just say like don't cry,
cry.
like don't cry, don't be no punk, like you know what I'm saying, like
Mhm.
crying or whatever. That's definitely when like man, stop by that goddamn crying like a little sissy. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean that's something that boys cry. So I mean, so it's like that's just something that most men don't want to cry to nobody because of what they say. Men aren't supposed to cry. You're taught not to cry. You're taught to be tough, to be hard.
That's really real. That's very
Yeah,
real.
I feel like that's a big one with black males. Because like I babysit a lot and I watch a lot of little white kids and their parents don't do that
No.
to them. When they cry, they give them the space to cry. It is what it is. They move on. But being a black female dealing with, black kids, they don't want to cry. Even like being a counselor and dealing with some of the young men, they won't cry. They don't, it takes them a while to open up. Even you can visibly see that something is wrong. But because they have been so trained to just hold it in, I'll be fine. My mom told me not to cry. People are gonna judge me. I'm soft. They don't want to express themselves. And me, I'm a crybaby. So, I'm like, let it out. Because you'll feel better when you do. And so, even though I don't have kids, I feel like I'm gonna make a conscious effort to make sure that they feel safe expressing themselves because it's just so many hurt men out here who I think
Absolutely.
deal with like stuff, alone, and that if they felt safer expressing themselves, it would just be a better place.
It was.
But
Yeah.
I mean, my dad is guilty of it. Like, I can just think back, like, when my little cousin was smaller and like he would fall and like cry, be like, get up,
Mhm.
But I'm like, it hurt. Like he fell.
My dad
like
would do that too.
Yeah.
Same thing.
and I know like he doesn't mean any harm by it, but it hurt at that point when he fell. So let him cry and then he'll get over it. But I think men are just so trained to like little boys aren't supposed to cry, they're supposed to be hard, they're supposed to be strong. But you can be a strong, hard male and still be able to express yourself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I agree.
that's just my
I agree.
little
That's definitely one.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's absolutely true. And then at this age, it's like when something's going on with an adult male, you have to like pull things out of him.
Damn
It's
sure.
crazy.
I mean, I guess for
Oh,
myself,
God.
it's like there's no point in complaining about certain things. So instead of complaining about something, just figure out a solution. Sometimes you might need to talk to somebody or kind of vent to somebody, but at the same time, is I'd rather be more solution oriented than being somebody that's gonna complain about it and cry about, oh, I ain't got this, ain't got that. Well, how you gonna get it? What the fuck you gonna do? Because complaining about it, crying about it, ain't gonna do nothing.
I'm
But
gonna
it
do
doesn't have
both.
to be a complaint. Like sometimes you just need a listening ear.
Mhm.
Like you could have a bad day and feel some way about it, and you need somebody to hear you. Like
For
Her
sure.
name is Mary Jane.
I tell Amy a lot of stuff. Some days
Oh
I'm just like,
God.
that was a horrible day, and I need you to listen. I might
Yeah.
not need advice. I need you to hear me.
Mhm.
And once you hear me, okay, whew, I feel better. But men walk around with an invisible backpack, is what I say, with all these emotions in them, and then y'all lose it or explode on the wrong person when you could have talked about it along the way and then be solution focused. But when sometimes you have the weight of the world on your back, you can't figure out a solution. So, that's the counselor hat that I wear. But I can't fix
I
it.
was gonna say, like, that's what I do. I'm good for venting to my friends. Like, if something's going on, I'm gonna be like, girl, let me tell you about this. And I'm gonna vent a while. And then after that, I'm gonna be like, okay, so like, how can I get past this? Like, how can I fix this? How can I get over this? But I'm gonna talk to you first. I like to talk.
We know.
Talker. Oh.
I'm sure you like to talk to. Don't do that.
I do. I mean, look, don't let me have a little bit of Hennessy in my system. We can talk.
God. Okay, so what is the takeaway here about generational curses?
Oh, that's a question for me.
Everyone.
Takeaway for generational curses. I mean, at the end of the day, things can be changed. It all starts with you, and you have to want to change in order for it to happen. And if you don't want for it to change, ain't nothing gonna happen. And
I
like I
agree.
said before, too, a lot of it too is just being around the right people.
I agree. My takeaway is when you know that something is a curse, you need to decide to break it. Like once you become aware, it's your responsibility to take care of it and break it.
Yeah.
I agree with both of you. But I think the quote that I posted yesterday really kind of sums it up. It just says, it's up to us to break generational curses. When they say it runs in the family, you tell them this is where it runs out.
Oh, I
Um,
like that. That's a
Fact.
good one.
I think it
I
just sums
definitely
it up.
agree.
You actively want to change it, change it.
Yep.
It
Put
all
a foot
starts
in.
with you.
Agreed. Okay, so are y'all ready to get into a listener letter?
And
Sure.
yeah.
Green.
All right. Eeny, meeny, mighty, mo. All right. Let's see. This one is short, but it's very specific. So it says, hey girl, hey. Hope all is well. I listened to you and Gree's first episode and I loved it, but I need some advice on relationships. How long do you think you should wait around for your man to propose?
Oh.
You can't put a time.
Oh, let's just get to it.
Look, I'm gonna be honest. Look, you can't place a time limit on somebody saying, "Hey, this how long you need to wait before you can propose." I mean, I feel like when you meet somebody, you know if that person is gonna be for you. You can kind of begin to visualize yourself being with that person long term. But then at the same time, you got to make sure that you are right mentally in your brain before you can decide to say, "Hey, I want to commit to spend the rest of my life with this person." And a lot of times, so you really got to get to know that person before you decide to say, "Hey, I'm gonna put a ring on it."
I think she's asking how long she should wait for him to propose, though.
Like I said, you can't force a man to put a ring on your finger. Just because that's what you want, you gotta wait for him to make sure he's good with the situation. He want to make sure he know you. Like we talked about earlier when it came to generation curse with men, we don't talk about our feelings about different things like that. So until he can really come to you and really vent to you and be your real friend, I'm like, he's not gonna put a ring on your finger.
Okay. Okay. I'm not a man, but there has to be. I'm not going to say there's a length of time that you should wait, but I will say that there are times or there are year numbers where I can say you're wasting your time. Okay? So, for example, to play devil's advocate, if a couple has been together for 10 years, you think that she should
That's
like
too long.
wait.
Now, at that point, now, I would say 10 years is too long because hey, you'd have been together for a whole decade. You know the whole family, how to get to their family. If they from out of town, you know how to go there and back without at that point. How your mama cooking there, definitely know in 10 years.
Exactly, that's what she's asking.
Right. What about
Okay, well,
what about
how long
7
have they been
years?
together?
I don't know. This is anonymous.
No.
Let's say, okay, what about 7 years? Is 7 years too long?
Yes,
Okay,
it
let's
is.
not. Come on
I
now.
mean,
You
I would say
already
yeah, because
said
7 is close to 10. 7 is close to 10.
you already
Okay,
said
let's say
when
this
you're dating
person
someone, you
is
can visualize that they've been together, visualize marriage, right? So you tell me if I'm wrong. On a man will place you into a category, right? Like she's about to be a jump off, or she's someone I'm going to take seriously, or right? Okay.
Agreed.
So you said that early on, a man can determine whether you're like wife material.
Wifey material.
So let's say he determines. Well, actually, you tell me. When you say early on, how early do you mean?
I mean, I know for myself with one chick I dated, I think I knew within like the first 30 days.
Okay. So let's say they.
But I didn't go as far as wanting to go the whole marriage route because I wanted to make sure I was financially where I wanted to be in life before I decided to say, hey, I want to get married.
okay. So with that being said, financially where you want it to be, is that a conversation you have with her? Hey, before I propose to you, I want to be financially stable, or do you just let that girl keep thinking something's wrong with her or let her think you don't want to be with her in a marriage? Like, what is it? Like, how
I
does
would
that
have,
look?
me personally, I would have the conversation, and I would let it be known before we even, went that far down the road. Because I mean, I know girls like all of us, like they fall in love with somebody. Oh, I want to marry. I want to marry him. I want to marry him. But at the same time, if I know I'm not ready yet, or matter of fact, even in my earlier conversations and when we're first in a relationship, we do talk about that kind of stuff. Because at the
Right,
end of
it
the day,
comes
I
up.
want to make sure before I take you down that path to say we gonna be this, before you get around, oh, I want to be married. Okay, well, if I'm not where I want to be, and you know that, don't bring it up because you're gonna push me away.
What
I'm gonna
if
figure
it
out if
takes you 8 years to get there?
I mean, it wouldn't take me no damn 8 years to get to where I
Okay,
want.
hypothetical man. You have to put, okay, everything has to be weighed. Like, I definitely understand wanting to be financially secure before you get married to somebody, but if you've been dating for 5 years and you're financially secure, so you're just not going to propose, so y'all are just not going to get married, like, what were the last 5 years for?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I
Right.
mean,
Nobody
I
is
would have
ever
gone.
100% ready to be married. I mean, really,
I
there's always
know.
stuff you want to work on.
Yeah, I mean, it's at the end of the day, I feel like if I'm heading in the right direction, where I want to, if I'm not all the way there, but I feel like we're working together, it's like a real like team. As far as like moving forward in life, that could make me want to propose early, even if I'm not where I want to be in life.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say that because, like, if she's with you and you're not financially whatever, then it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
Like, she's not
I mean
really
that was
focused
some.
on
I
that.
mean that
So,
was something that I did learn from that relationship. That that she was in it with me, not against me.
Exactly. That's what relationships are for. They're partnerships.
Yeah.
But so
also, I'm not gonna be your girlfriend for 7 years. No.
exactly. I agree with you. You cannot put a time limit. There's a point
A
where it's
time
like,
limit.
okay, am I wasting my time?
I mean,
Like,
if you done went 10 years, you definitely just wasted some time. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
that's what, well, I know people who have gotten engaged after 10 years.
So was that 10 years like we were in high school together and now we're grown together 10
College,
years?
college until.
Like freshman year of college or just some point in college?
It, oh my God. What I will say
It,
is, it does depend on the age you started dating. If we start
Yeah.
dating at 30, have until I'm
You don't
35.
have,
You don't.
because I mean, at 30, you've been experienced real life. You've
Right.
experienced real
You're grown.
relationships, things like
Cut it
that.
out.
So, and you should be able to decide like early on in that kind of relationship. But if you talking about I'm 23, I just started my first job, I ain't bought no house shit. Like, come on now, like get out of here.
Well, you don't need that long then either. I mean, you should be proposing to me by the time we're 26, 27. I
All
mean,
right.
come on. Like, what, we're
what
grown
are we
adults.
doing? Like,
Seriously. I understand
Mm.
if you're not like concerned, not you, person is not concerned about marriage. But if you want to be married and you've been together for 4 years already, I mean, come on. We're,
Yeah. I mean,
we're
but I'm
ready for
pretty
that.
sure within that first year, she done brought up marriage. So I mean, he should know what's expected or what she's expecting.
You have to have discussions about it. This question was really open ended and we didn't get many details. But
Yeah.
I would say my thing is it's not so much about the time, but also about intention. If you've been with someone for 4 years and he's made it clear, like maybe in year two, he's like, I definitely want to marry you. Like, I see that's where we're going, blah, blah, blah. If you said that in year two and it's year four, what's going on? Like, what's the holdup?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I could say that it probably is an issue going on, but I said if I know I can see myself marrying you, I'm gonna make my actions, to show that at some point.
What are the actions besides a proposal?
Hmm?
What are the
Besides the
actions
proposal,
besides? Yeah.
I say that I mean as far as like if I know for a fact that I can see myself marrying you, I'm gonna communicate, really get to know you, really open up, be that vulnerable person with you. I'm not doing that with somebody I'm just dating. I'll be honest.
Eh,
you should be doing that from the beginning.
Mm-mm. I mean, well, yes, to an extent. I
I
don't
was
go
gonna
too much into
say,
detail.
I feel like
I
words
gotta,
don't
I
really
gotta.
matter.
Hmm?
Like you can be, I feel like the words don't matter. Like you can be vulnerable, you can open up, you can do this and that, you can meet the family. You've been together for years, and he still could not propose to you. Seriously.
Also, the circumstances, like, are we living together?
Now, if y'all
Like,
living together for that long, you
am I
should.
washing your dirty drawers? Like, am
God.
I cooking? Are we playing house? Because at this point, if it's year 4 and I'm doing all this, what are we doing? Because
If I'm
I'm not
living with you, it's an intent on marriage.
intent, but there's no proposal.
I mean, how long are we living together? But
How
I'm
long
saying
would
for
you
me,
live with somebody before you propose?
maybe like a year. I would say a year or less than that, because at that point, I'm actually able to coexist with you essentially 12 hours plus out of the day. Sleep in the same bed with you. I see how you clean. Do you cook? Are you nasty?
Do you cook? Of course. Do you
Are
cook?
you nasty? I
Yeah.
agree with him. I agree with him. And it goes both
that's something
ways.
that's important. That's something that's important. I know how to cook. I mean, I ain't no chef. But I know how to cook. I clean up. I know how to keep my house clean. So do you?
It's true. You're right. It's true.
So what if you move in with them and you find out they're not? Are you gonna break up with them? Or are you gonna try to make it work?
I'm gonna let it be known. Be like, you need
What
to
if it's year 4?
If it's year 4,
Oh,
and
true.
if it's year 4, I done been in your house. I would have been and told your house is nasty.
No,
No,
you know
people
what?
can
No,
pick up-
people
no.
clean up for visitors. Seriously. I just read this
No.
article.
Oh no! Well, before you say that, when you first meet somebody, you clean up. When you
No,
when
No.
you
You can
get with
clean
certain people,
up.
when certain
will
people
never
get
get
comfortable with
comfortable
certain
like
people, they don't always keep. It's not gonna be like the cleanest or the spotlessness home.
I was telling Brianna the other week, and this story that I read is what made me pretty certain that I'm going to want to live with whoever I marry before we get married. I don't know about before or after engagement, but this woman wrote in, and she was like, I'm living with my husband, we're newlyweds, and I found out that he does not wipe after he does number 2, and now I find poop flakes in the bed. Like, that's crazy.
I don't know.
That's
That's
crazy.
a hygiene thing. I don't know.
It's a hygiene thing. Are you
That's grounds
nasty?
for
Are you?
divorce right there.
I agree. That's disgusting. That's
grounds for divorce.
crazy.
You
But
don't
what I'm
wipe your
saying
hands?
is, you never know. What if they had been dating for 3-4 years and they got married? They didn't live together beforehand, and that's like a horrible surprise. But
It
It's
is.
a horrible surprise.
But that's a part of, y'all need. I feel like you definitely need to live with each other beforehand and really know that person before you decide to say, hey.
before engagement or before marriage,
I would say just as a regular couple. I mean, before you actually get married, well, the engagement can happen at any point. But I mean, I definitely feel like you should at least live with somebody for a year and really see how you really can deal with them before you decide to put a ring on it.
Well, regarding this listener, let's give her advice 2 ways. Okay, let's say she has been living with him or she has not been living with him. If she has been living with him, how long do you think she should wait for a proposal? After how long of, I guess, living together? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I guess it's gonna have to be something like, okay, you haven't proposed to me, I'm out. Should she give an ultimatum? What should she do?
Well, I'm
sure they've discussed
don't ever give
marriage.
me no ultimatum. I'll tell you that. Don't ever give me no ultimatum because it might not be the answer that you want. But in this particular situation, I would say for her, if y'all have been living together for more than a year, but y'all been dating for years and he's still proposed to you, probably not going to no time soon.
What if they've discussed marriage? And he's made it clear, like the words that you said, like he's vulnerable, he's open, they talk about everything, and he's like, yeah, I definitely want to marry you.
In that particular situation, I mean, I would put a time limit on that. I'll put a time limit on that one because you're saying that he's saying he wants to marry her, and he's open up, he's being vulnerable. What you're saying, this is what I want, whatever, and you're doing what you got to do on your part, and he still hasn't proposed, and I would say that I would think that she should put a time limit, year tops.
In her head or to him?
Well,
you said don't give an ultimatum. That's an ultimatum. Propose to me by September
And
1st,
you
or I'm
said a
leaving.
year tops, like another year, or
If we've had that conversation or they've had that conversation, but this is what I want or whatever, I would say within the year, especially if y'all been together for a long time or a couple of years before that.
That's fair. So what should she do? Give an ultimatum, or
In
should
this
she just think in her
situation,
head?
me don't give me no ultimatum. Everybody's different, but I mean,
I would
either
never
she
give a
say,
man an ultimatum.
I would say
no.
don't do that. But I'm saying this particular situation, I would say, hell, most of y'all don't tell nobody. Y'all just one day y'all just pack that shit up and say I'm gone. If you ain't got it by then, y'all just get up.
That would be exactly what I would do.
Right, I
Really?
mean,
Absolutely. I mean, she's already had the conversation saying that she wants
she's
to be married,
expressed it to him, yeah.
and I might have one more conversation with him. And if it didn't happen
Shit.
on the time limit I wanted to happen on, it would be time for me to go. Like, what are we doing?
What's the time limit you're thinking, Brianna? So Rashad said
I think if
after
they've
a
been
year.
living together for, I don't know, let's just say they've been living together for a year. They've had the conversation. He said it's going to happen. I would mention it again. I don't know how often it's being mentioned, but say she hasn't mentioned it in 6 months, I will maybe mention it again, and I might wait another 6 months, and then, I mean, it's time to go. Like,
I mean, but let me just be
So you would
honest.
be out this year.
Honestly,
yeah,
a
because
dude can
like,
tell when a girl wants him to propose. I mean, at least I know. I can
I'm
tell.
sure.
So if he's not, if you know that that's what she wants and you ain't doing it, I mean, yeah, that's a problem.
because at this point, what is your reason that you're
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
Maybe
Like,
it's
it can't be
finances.
financial because we're living together. Obviously, I don't really care about finances. We're making it work living together. What else could there be?
Man, that's
Are
nerve wracking. I
Do
just
you not really want to be married? Like, what is it? Are you cool with this?
I
But
think
some
that's
people,
probably what it is. People get comfortable. It's like,
yeah,
why do we need to
Yeah.
rush to be married? We live together. What's
Yeah.
what's the difference? Every day is going to be the same. Sure, there may be some legal differences, but day to day is going to be the same. So why do I need to rush?
Right.
yeah.
You know?
So
That is true.
Yeah.
So
Damn.
I mean, maybe she should put a time clock in her brain, or like, well, look, babe, when we get married, I need to know.
and sometimes you have to apply pressure mentally and not verbally. Like in my head, okay, 6 months. If I gotta go,
I mean,
Damn.
and he needs to remember what life was like before me.
But would you come back after the 6 months? That's the question. I wouldn't
I
want
don't
to
know
leave and then I'm
because,
coming
like,
back.
are you
only doing
proposing
it.
that I left, or are
Yeah,
you
he is.
proposing you want
If
to?
you leave on September 1st and then he comes on September 10th, no, I bought you a ring. I mean, yeah, he's doing it because you
But
left.
if I leave on September 1st and he doesn't come back, then you never wanted to propose in the first place. So if I left and you don't come back,
If he came back proposing after a week after you left, then
Right. That makes me think.
then you know that he's doing it because you left. But if he does not
Right.
come back, that means he probably didn't want to be with you.
So how would you ever think that he really wanted to marry you? If he proposes to you in a week, or based on what you're saying, if he proposes to you a week after you leave, he's only proposing because you left. And if he doesn't propose to you, it's because he never wanted to marry you. So are you saying it's like not possible that he wanted to marry her before September 1st, before she left?
I mean, I feel like if
he
you've been
probably
together
did. He was
long
saying
enough,
that's
you
how it goes.
know. But I don't know. I just feel like there's a certain approach. Like if he comes back and like has a conversation or like an honest conversation, because I feel like sometimes men just lie and there's like an underlying reason for why maybe he's not proposing, or like maybe there's something going on, then maybe. But like if he does not come back or tries to fight for her, then he don't want to be with her. Like,
Well, yeah, that's a given.
but if he
That's
comes
it.
back with a ring 10 days later, no. The answer is no.
Even if he was blowing up your phone for like that whole 10-day period, like you didn't left, he's blowing your phone up by showing
Well,
up
if
at
he's
your
blowing
house.
up my phone because he wants me to come back and be with him, that's different. If you're blowing up my phone because you're trying to propose, then you're doing it because I want it. I want you to propose because you want it.
So you want him to blow up your phone just to talk, but not to propose?
I want you to blow up my phone because I want you to be honest about why you're not proposing.
What if he's just not ready?
Then you're just
That's
not
not
ready,
a
and
thing.
we don't need to sharpen up. Like,
Oh my God, y'all.
you gotta
That's
take
so
a step back.
depressing.
I
Like,
mean,
I
but
don't know.
let's
I feel like
but think
sometimes
about
you
everything that
gotta
goes
like,
into the whole marriage thing anyway. It's it's a marriage is big. That's a lot that you really got to go through anyway. So it's I mean definitely it's supposed to be a lifelong commitment or whatever. But at the same time, you got to sometimes too. You be like, well, look, well, maybe I haven't proposed because maybe I don't see myself clicking with your family.
Oh Lord.
I mean, because
but you've been doing it for 4 years. Like, what do
So
you
depressing
mean?
to break up at 30 after being with someone for years and living together. Like that, I understand it could be worse. Like, yeah, you could be 40 or you could be 50, whatever. But 30, I feel is like around the age where you find your forever person. So to be starting
Yeah.
over at that age, it's like, damn. Oh,
I just feel like it's just the odds are endless. Not to say that this is the situation, but what if he comes and says, I have a secret. I'm not proposing because I have a secret. Like,
what's the
I
secret?
cheated.
right, the
I
secret.
Oh,
cheated
God.
a year ago. Like, I don't know. Like, there are so many reasons why someone might not be proposing.
I mean, well, what if they just never knew about what they know of marriage, or maybe they just didn't have like that they didn't grow up with like a two-parent household, or they didn't grow up in a family that was married, or people that just always were married. They see it on TV, they see people get married, but maybe that wasn't no lifelong goal for them. Say, hey, look, I want to get married and have a family. Maybe they just want to have a
Well,
girl.
don't tell me you're gonna propose.
I mean, well, if I tell you I'm
Agreed.
propose, I mean, if
Are
I tell you
ya?
that, I'm yeah, but yeah,
What if
Okay,
some
well
like
then
I
don't
see
tell
you
me,
being
oh,
my
it's coming,
wife
it's coming,
someday?
and then I'm anticipating it's coming, and then it never comes because then I'm waiting for it for a year plus, and then it doesn't come. Just say I'm afraid of marriage because I never really knew what marriage looked like, and then we can work through those issues. Because like me, I come from a 2-parent household. I only knew what marriage looked like, but let me think. Every boyfriend I've had
wasn't
came from a
marriage
single
serious.
parent household. You know what I mean? So it's like that was always a battle because I love my daddy to the end of the world. And even my last ex, I always go see my parents on Sundays. And sometimes he'll be like, you always go see your parents. Yeah, because I love them. Like, I love
Yeah.
my dad. On Father's Day, I'm going to be with my daddy. Like, I love my parents. And so because he was disconnected from his family, it was like sometimes we would get into it about that. And I'd be like, I didn't understand.
Okay,
And it was
generational curse. That's just generational curse.
yeah,
Right?
like, you know what I mean? So it was a
That is a
conversation we had
generational curse.
sometimes. Like, you can come be around my family, but because he wasn't close to his family, it was like, he'd be like, nah, I'm good,
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah,
I mean that
with
makes sense.
y'all
That makes sense though.
about setting a timeline in your head. I think
mental
that's all you
timeline.
can do. I would not tell a man like you have until September 1st to propose to me or I'm leaving. I would not say that, but I
And then
probably would
you
have
give
in
me
my head.
you give me a specific that I love you right now because you're not gonna put me on no. Oh yeah, I have to be engaged by September 1st. What? Okay, goodbye. I ain't.
Exactly. I wouldn't do it. But I would have in my head. I would have in my head like, okay, if he doesn't propose to me by September 1st, I'm gonna have to leave, and I would probably. I mean, I can't say how I'd react because I've never been in a several-year-long relationship where we're talking about marriage. Haven't lived with a man, whatever. But I would want to say that I'm not coming back because if we've been together for years and we've been living together for years and we've talked about marriage, you said you want to marry me, blah blah blah. Why is it taking you so long? Like why? It shouldn't take you that long. Once you come to the realization that you want to marry this person, it shouldn't take you years after that. That don't make no sense. So, I don't know. There are people who will propose to you within a year.
There's
Seriously.
some people that didn't get proposed to in 30 days. I mean, it's
Exactly. And they'll be together for decades. You
Yeah.
really never, I mean, come on. You already said in the first 30 days, a man probably knows if he sees you as a potential wife. So
what is we doing?
pretty much. Damn, dating is
I
hard.
mean, well, if they don't see you as a potential wife, that's probably why they ain't proposed your ass in goddamn 5 or 10
Well, then
years.
why did you tell me you want to marry me?
So
Shit.
then,
Don't say it.
so okay. They wrote in. Did her dude tell her that?
We don't know. She's
don't-
anonymous.
What you read is what we read. We don't know.
Okay, well,
we
I
didn't
don't
even
remember.
look at the letter.
Remember what y'all read? I was like going back
Oh,
asking.
she pretty much posed a general question. I'm assuming it's about her, but she said, "How long should you wait for your man to propose?" I wish she would have given more detail,
Yeah.
but that's what she
Maybe
said.
she'll do an update.
Yeah.
Yeah,
After she watched,
that's
'cause you
true.
said-
Once
you
Do
she
said
an
she-
listens-
update, girl.
Once she
Yeah, 'cause
listens, yeah.
Yeah, like, cause if she watches, she'll go back and she'll listen. She may write back and say, "Oh, this was what my question was." But
Right, we need more detail. Come on now.
I mean, how long
Come
should
on
you wait?
now.
How long have
How long have you been together?
Yeah,
This
I mean,
person might have been with the man for 6 months.
I mean,
Right.
with them for 6 months talking about how long should I wait? That's
You
what? Like,
Exactly.
got a
Yeah.
minute, girl.
I'm gonna
I
guess
know.
they've been together for a few years at this point. Because
I
otherwise,
mean, if
why
you
are
ask me
you
that question,
writing that?
I would assume at least 3. I would assume at least 3 to 5 years.
I would say that too. Because if it's more than 5 years, let it go. If we're in our 30s, let it go. That's my opinion. I don't believe that you need someone in your 30s to know if you want to marry them.
Yeah, no, because you got most of your whole phase out by the time you're 30.
Right. I would hope so. Damn. That's like
Not
definitely
okay, so.
But yeah. Okay, so we've been going for like an hour. Do y'all want to wrap it up here?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
It was
Our
fun.
first guest. Yay.
I'm excited. Okay, well, as always, follow us on Instagram at heygirlhey.pc. You can send listener letters to heygirlhey.pc@gmail.com. Rihanna, any last words?
Nope. Well, subscribe to our YouTube, and we're working on getting our podcast on Apple.
Yeah,
I'm struggling over here, but
we are
we're
not
gonna get it done.
technically skilled or technologically skilled.
We're new to this.
Right.
Yeah, not true to this. Okay, well, bye, girl, bye. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.